Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here. You are colleagues of the senior ophthalmologist crowd as well. And I think you'll be surprised at how quickly you join the ranks of the senior ophthalmologists. So please enjoy everything about being young. It's really my privilege to represent the Senior Ophthalmologist Committee on an award. And this year you have a special treat. The Artemis Award is given by the Senior Ophthalmologist Committee to a young ophthalmologist for service above and beyond what all of you do as well. And all of you are certainly eligible in the next year. Who was Artemis? Artemis was a Greek goddess, and her responsibilities were to protect and to nurture the vulnerable and the suffering. Once again, you all do that in your everyday work. This year's winner certainly exemplifies these values. This year's winner also has an interesting hereditary condition. It's called FOQ. Now, what does that stand for? You might not have read about this in your residency. Familial ophthalmic quality. Her grandparents created an institution. Her parents and other relatives have served at this very same institution. Even though she had all of this familial background, on her own, Dr. Camila Ventura has changed the world, and Artemis would be proud of her. She's changed this through the nurturing of her family. She's changed it through serendipity as she traveled through the world and studied in her native country of Brazil, but bookending it by some experiences as a medical student at Columbia, where she studied with Michael Chang, and then at Bascom Palmer for a fellowship when she studied with one of your previous panelists, Dr. Barakal. So we've got familial traits, we've got serendipity traits, and we have this lovely bookending of the international experience. She has been to the United States to train. She has returned to her country to serve her citizens. And in so doing, her discoveries were serendipitous about Zika. And she has taken this one clinical condition and created an entire network to help these unfortunate children who are indeed vulnerable as well as suffering. How did she become the Artemis nominee? These nominations can come from medical schools, from residencies, from state societies, and the previous past 4 winners all represent these various categories. This is the first year, though, that we had an international society as a nominator for a successful selection. The Pan American Association of Ophthalmology, sponsoring this meeting, was Dr. Ventura's nominating body. So before presenting the award, I would ask the president of PAO, Dr. Fernando Arayala, to please come up and say a few words about why they chose her as the nomination.
Thank you very much, Dr. Day. Thank you very much, Dr. Day. It's difficult to add to the very beautiful introduction that you just did, but yes, I want to tell you how it happened. We were in Cartagena in one of our regional Pan American meetings. Of course, so hard, somebody has to do it, you know, a meeting in Cartagena, Colombia. You can imagine how difficult that was. And we were on our executive committee meeting, and we were discussing, among other things, young ophthalmology. And it came up that the Academy has this Artemis Award, and even though we thought there is a lot of talent in Latin America that could compete for this award. We have never had in the history of the Americas, or Latin America particularly, such a talented person as Camila Ventura. And I was sure that we could get, with Camila Ventura, the Artemis Award. So we nominated her based on not only her research on Zika babies, but also because she has become a person that is stimulating young ophthalmologists in Latin America. She's the head of our Young Ophthalmologist Committee at the Pan American, and everybody's looking up to her. She's demonstrated what a young ophthalmologist can do in Latin America, and everybody will, with this Artemis Award, be stimulated to do more and more. So I believe her nomination by the Pan American, and now that she has been awarded this Artemis Award, and we're so pleased and honored that this happened, is going to help move forward the ophthalmology, especially young ophthalmologists in Latin America are going to be benefit by this wonderful gesture by the Academy. Thank you so much.
Dr. Ventura, please come up to join us. Dr. Ventura will now discuss her good work on Zika. So, Camila, take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Day. Wow, I couldn't feel more emotional, more humbled, and more thankful right now. I truly appreciate being an Artemis awardee, even more when I know that I'm the first international young ophthalmologist to be awarded with it. So I would like to thank the PAO in the name of Dr. Fernando Arevalo, as well as the SO committee in the name of Dr. Susan Day for this honorable and prestigious award. I would like to extend the Artemis Award to my entire team at the Altino Ventura Foundation, as well as to all of my Zika children and their families. Today, the Artemis Award not only recognizes my contribution to science and ophthalmology, it also crowns the continuous hard work of my multidisciplinary team to provide a better quality of life to these children and their families. I also take the opportunity to talk about my multidisciplinary team. I'm sorry, I'm quite nervous. It's not easy to be here. They have been taking this role very seriously, and they have made a significant difference in these children's lives. I also would like to honor all of the Zika caregivers, because they have shown unbelievable and unconditional love for their children. I thank them for depositing their hope in our institution, as well as trusting our professionals in caring for their child. I was asked to share here with you today my personal experience with congenital Zika syndrome. So I came up with 5 lessons that I have learned in the past 3 years that I would like to share with you. Lesson number 1, never miss the opportunity to make a difference. While growing up, I always wanted to make a grand contribution to the world. At the same time, I knew that in order to make a difference, You needed to be perseverant, dedicated, and never miss an opportunity. When analyzing my Zika experience, I am certain that I was in the right place, in the right time, and I was definitely attentive enough to see an opportunity. I was very fortunate. I was born in northeast of Brazil. My state, Pernambuco State, was the first to report microcephaly cases in the world. Happens that at that same time period, I randomly examined a preemie with severe microcephaly during my ROP rounds. That preemie presented with a unique chorioretinal scar. I'm certain that I was very fortunate to examine that preemie because I left that NICU that day very much intrigued by a lesion that I had never seen before. What I can tell is that after this first preemie, things happened really fast. We started examining more and more children with microcephaly in my institution, a reference center for ophthalmology and rehabilitation center, the Camila Ventura Foundation. And as in a blink, we had more than 200 children with similar manifestations of what now we know was congenital Zika syndrome. So we come up to lesson number 2. Be prepared to be amazed. So I guess congenital Zika syndrome made it possible for me to leave my footsteps on this globe. However, what I was not aware was that congenital Zika syndrome would change me as a person. More than contributing to science, these children have amazed me with their willpower. They have been fighting bravely for their lives and surpassing all medical expectations. To be honest with you, when these children were born, we asked ourselves how much time they had left. 3 years later, they are alive, and they have shown the world that they have enough endurance to fight their own battles and still smile by the end of the day. Lesson number 3, never give up. Caring for children with congenital Zika syndrome is not an easy task, and we definitely faced many challenges since day one. The first big challenge, I would say, was providing caregivers and mothers with a concrete diagnosis, because for more than 6 months, we had no serology to prove it. Then we had to face the questions, right? I still remember my first talks describing the ocular manifestations that I was seeing and being questioned about my presumed diagnosis. It was not easy to face the crowd nor the criticism, but I knew that I could not give up. Meanwhile, in clinic, we had to face the nonstop cry, the irritability that these children presented. Later on came the feeding problems, the severe dysphagia, and the need for feeding tubes and gastrostomy. We also had children that developed hydrocephaly with time and required shunt surgery. And we can't forget those that needed limb and hip surgery due to malformations. I tend to think that Zika has been another degree in my life, really. I learned so much things that I never read from an ophthalmology book. They were teaching me in the daily basis, and I learned about music therapy, about Botox for hypertonia. I learned about bandages for physical therapy and light for visual stimulation. I feel very fortunate to see all of this and live all of this. But I would say that currently, my main struggle is to remind authorities that there are more than 3,700 children with congenital Zika syndrome in the world, and from which 285 are cared for in my institution. So these children, they need us to keep advocating for them and reminding the world that they are alive, they need help and care. Lesson number 4, empower. I can see very clearly that we have made significant difference in these children's lives and also in their families' lives. And I would say that mostly this difference, I could say that it was due to our team's empowerment. We empowered ourselves as a team to provide care to these children and manage each case according to their specific and unique needs. But I would say that the most significant contribution to these children's progress and improvement has been family empowerment. Once caregivers understood that their child needed them in order to improve, They became our best allies, and they participate daily in their children's progress. And lesson number 5, last one, be grateful. I am completely aware that I would not be able to do all this amazing work on my own. I am initially thankful to my Zika patients and their families because they are really the real reason I'm here today. I'm also very grateful for my team at the Camila Ventura Foundation for being so loyal to this cause and committed, as well as to all of our supporters and partners from Brazil and abroad for their continuous help, a very valuable help too. And I cannot finish my talk without thanking my own special heroes, my family. A special thanks to my parents, Liana and Marcelo Ventura, for not only being my roots, but also my wings. Thank you all very much for your attention.